Okay, the Australian Freeride Invitational was held at Perisher Blue this week, so keeping with skiing and competing in the skier cross event, turn a few dollars to fund his World Cup campaign, was Olympian AJ Bear. Now, things didn't go quite as planned, so to tell us all about it, please welcome back to the show one of Australia's fastest men, AJ Bear, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Bucket.
That did look good, didn't it, down there?
It was good fun. Unfortunately, I hurt myself, but...
We're having a pretty big season.
We are. I've had some great training already this year, and it looks like another week of snow to come, so...
Yeah, and you're going to be missing it. Hold your arm up. Let's have a look at it. There it is, the injury. Now, tell us, you already had a plate put in there because midway through the World Cup season that you're absolutely shredding last year and going so well, you had a very big fall, broke your arm, they've plated it, and they put bolts and plates and pins and you name it in there. Here's the floor here. Just talk us through.
Yeah,
this is in Italy.
I just caught my arm on that gate there, and unfortunately I broke before it did. And I had a pretty nasty break, and it's been a hassle since. It's 7 months since that accident, and 2.5 months ago the bones weren't getting back together. After such a messy breakup, they didn't want to reunite, and so I had to have a bone graft, and now it was just about healed. I went and did something silly, and I've cracked, put a spiral fracture in after the plate, so I have to wear a cast for a little bit longer, but I'll be back there still.
Should you have gone in this race? Did you come back a little bit too early?
I thought about it long and hard, and I don't think that I made the wrong decision. I had a game plan where I was going to stay fairly conservative. I didn't hurt my arm out of the gate. I started last each run, and I just tried to overtake, but in the final, in the heat of battle, I sort of miscalculated. And
that's you coming the last at the moment?
No, I'm in third.
You're in third, so you're right on top of them.
And I just went a little bit too fast and hit the flats from that height. There was no way I was ever going to handle those forces.
And did you think you'd hurt yourself straight away? Did you know something was up?
Yeah, as soon as I hit the ground, I could feel something wasn't quite right in my arm, and was quite frustrated and disappointed with myself for a few hours, but got over it and didn't indulge those negative thoughts, and I'm already back to full training.
Oh, it's a forlorn figure. A forlorn figure sitting there going,
not happy.
Not happy. That's my bad arm again, your left arm. I guess it is good that it is your left arm that you didn't break your other one.
You got to look at the positives, don't you? But you don't ski on your arms, and I'll be ready by the end of November for the first World Cup event. So
November's the big push. There's 10 events in the World Cup circuit. You are easily one of our most accomplished skiers ever. I guess it must have been disappointing for you last year in Italy when you did do the big injury that's required, the plates and things like that, because you're really on the charge. You're having the season that you dreamt about.
Well, it was all fitting into place. My equipment was coming together. I was in great physical shape, and mentally, most importantly, I was gaining confidence with every race and just taking it a step at a time. But the way I've been training this year, I'm at least in that same position, and I'm looking forward to picking up where I left off and even making better results this year.
What training can you do with your arm like that?
Well, there's not really much that I can't do, because for downhill ski racing, you need it's mainly legs, butt and gut, and so a lot of lifting, a lot of cycling and things like that. I don't do too much upper body work because the more kilos you carry down the hill, the more G-forces you have in a turn. So I haven't really missed out on anything so far, but running gates for the next couple of weeks, I'm not going to be able to hold a pole. That's going to be my disadvantage. But
how important is it? Okay, November's the big date. How important is it that you're at full speed before you go over there with your confidence and things?
I'll be heading to Europe about the middle of October to start training on the glaciers. So I'll have a full 2 months of getting up to speed on snow over there before I do my first World Cup. And I've been skiing probably more than most other World Cup athletes because they've had a shocking year on the glaciers over there. It's been so warm. So I'm not too frustrated. I know that I can do what is necessary to be right up there again this year.
And ready for November. In light of last year and how well you're going mid-season before the big injury, how's the funding going? Getting any easier?
It's not getting any easier. It's always tough, but I've just got to do what I can. If money wasn't a factor, I wouldn't be competing in these types of events where the risk is so high for something that's not ultimately part of my main picture. But I do what I can to get by, and I guess it makes me stronger.
It certainly does. Breaking your arm a few times and putting a few plates in there certainly does make you stronger. But good luck with the build-up, good luck with your injury, and hopefully we'll see you in the first race in November. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Bear. Good luck, champ.
Today on the snowfields of Perisher Blue in New South Wales. It's the last major competition before next year's Winter Olympics. That means a large contingent of international stars here, fighting it out with the best of the Aussies. AJ Bear will be among those leading our charge, and he joins us now from Perisher. Good morning to you, AJ.
Good morning.
How are you? Tell us about these games and their relatively extreme nature.
They are. Well, it's totally different to downhill ski racing, which I usually compete in. I usually just race against the hill and the clock, but with the Planet X Games, I compete in the ski across, and there's an extra 3 competitors trying to knock me out of the course. So it's a lot more fun, and it adds an extra element of excitement to the event.
I was going to say, it seems like fairly dangerous stuff.
Yeah, it is a little bit dangerous, but you've got to take calculated risks, and I haven't injured myself yet, so I'm looking forward to it again.
How do we fare against the top international competitors in this type of sport?
Well, the ski across, I won it the first year, and my teammate won it last year, so I'm predicting ski races will be on the podium. But in the other events, like the big air and so forth, the free riders that are coming out from other countries are usually pretty good at that, so they'll probably win that. Foreign
competitors have got big budgets, so I guess that helps them.
Definitely. Well, this is a different event to that which I usually ski in. On the World Cup circuit, I do have a bit of a small budget compared to those other European nations, but we still fare pretty well.
You finished 15th though in the World Championships in '99. I mean, for a small budget, man, that was a hell of a performance.
Thank you, yeah. I was very lucky to beat the whole of the US ski team, which has a budget of around $200,000 to $300,000 per athlete, so that was a big achievement for me, and I'm making small steps. It's like climbing a ladder. You can't jump straight to the top, and I'll eventually get there.
Second in the German Championships this year, AJ, and you're already qualified, aren't you, for the Australian Winter Olympic team for Salt Lake?
Yep, that's correct. I qualified at this year's World Championships, so I've been training really hard, and I know that once I get to these Olympics, I'll be able to prove myself, and I'll be able to get a little bit more support and hopefully a bigger budget, and then I'll be consistently right in there.
What happened at the World Championships? You were looking pretty good for a top 10 finish there for a while.
Yeah, in the first event, the Super G, I planned to qualify, which I did by finishing in the top 60%. But then in the downhill, I let it all hang out, and I was going pretty well at the last split, which was 20 seconds from the finish. I was 1.7 out, and 2 seconds out was a top 10, so I was completely devastated to miss out on that. But I know I can do it. I've had my moments in the sun, although not consistent. I know I can do it, and hopefully at these Olympics, I'll be right in there.
Well, listen, good luck during these extreme games. Don't get too extreme, will you? And good luck for the Olympics ahead.
Thank you very much.
OK, AJ Bear there at Perisher Blue. Thanks a lot.
Our next guest is lucky to be here after a horror skiing accident in Italy a fortnight ago.
Winter Olympian AJ Bear is with us, looking a little uncomfortable but alive. Mate, thanks for joining us. And
thank you for having me.
Tell us that you're feeling better than you look.
Oh, definitely. I just flew in yesterday morning, and thanks to Qantas, they upgraded me to the front of the bus, so I had a fairly comfortable flight, and I slept for Scotland last night, so I'm feeling a lot better.
Well done.
Yeah, it must have been a hard flight coming back, was it?
It wasn't too bad, as I said. At the front of the bus, it's a different world up there.
We wouldn't know, so we're just, imagining.
Yeah.
Exactly what injuries have you got? Let's go through it.
At the moment, I've just got a broken arm. They've pinned it with 2 titanium rods, and both bones were smashed pretty much. And apart from that, they were a little worried about my brain for the first few hours. There was a slight amount of bleeding at the back of the brain, but subsequent tests have proven that that's all clear.
Take us through it. What do you remember?
I didn't remember anything at the beginning. It took me about 20 minutes to remember exactly what happened, and I now I have full memory of everything except those few minutes where I was taking a little nap. But I came in, I was having a great run. I was looking at a top 15. I was pushing a lot harder than I usually do, and I was taking a few more risks. And just coming to that last turn, my legs felt fine, so I went down in my low tuck, and my leg angle just wasn't great enough, and the G-forces coming into that last turn, it's a bit of a compression, just squashed me onto the back of my bindings, and I couldn't stand up again. And from there, I just sort of tried to lay it down and slide it out, which is what I usually do. And usually I can control a crash. As I said, this is my first injury, and I've had a lot bigger crashes than that one. but I was just very unlucky to hit a gate. So when you're hitting an immovable object at 120 k's an hour, things are going to break, and I think I caught my head in the gate and my forearm on the base of the gate, which sent me flying and ragdolling.
So just explain, the problem is when you get airborne, I suppose, and that's where you've lost all control.
No, the problem is hitting things, and I'm pretty sure I got my head caught in the gate, and that sort of, knocked my neck sideways. So it's like a knockout punch. Yeah. If you see a boxer get hit in the jaw, that's how they get knocked out easily. And so when I was in the air, I was unconscious and I couldn't control the crash from then on. And so that's why I was sliding down on the ice on my face. Normally I wouldn't let that happen. And it's actually come up pretty well. But a week ago, my face was just one complete scab. It was pretty disgusting. It hurt to eat. I couldn't talk. It was all cracking when I was talking. So.
Oh, no. Now, you say it's your first... You've had a lot of spills, but you haven't actually been seriously injured before. Does this, when you get back on the slopes, does this sort of, hold in the back of your mind and you won't, necessarily go to the edge again? Is that a problem?
I don't think that's going to be a problem for me at all. I have seen that happen to other races before, and you see it in other sports as well. Like if we go back to the boxing analogy, once they've taken a knockout, they sometimes don't get back their fighting spirit. But I don't think it's going to be a problem for me at all. I can accept this injury as part of my sport. My sport's one of the most injury-prone and dangerous sports in the world, and most people have injuries throughout their career, and they come back and are stronger than ever. So if I don't make it back this season, I'm just going to use this extra time that I have to concentrate on my physical training and make sure that I come back bigger and stronger for next year.
Okay, and the World Championships, I suppose that's the major disappointment for you, missing those.
It's a huge disappointment because everything was coming together. Every week my confidence was improving, and so was my skiing, and my results were just getting better and better, and it was looking as though I was going to peak for these World Championships. And results at World Championships always sound a lot better as well, because there's only 4 competitors from each nation allowed to start in the World Championships. Yeah. So when you take out the 20 Austrians and all the Swiss and things like that, a top 10 was definitely achievable, but even better, because at World Championships a lot of people slow down. There's a lot of pressure on the favourites, and anything can happen. There's a lot of unknowns that win World Championships. So I'm extremely disappointed to not compete there, but it's not definite that I won't be there yet.
Well, let's hope. The only good thing is you get to see your first summer in about, 10, 12 years?
Exactly, 15.
15 years
first
you
glimpse
haven't been
of
into a summer.
I know, I might even get a tan. It's weird.
Excellent. So you'll be back into it sooner than probably it looks?
Well, I have to see my doctor this afternoon, see what they can do to try and fast-track my recovery program, but most people say that it's going to take 8 to 12 weeks, and which basically discounts this season as being over. And I don't know, I guess maybe I'll just try and enjoy some summer.
Yeah, go lie on the beach. Think of next year.
Mate, good luck with it, and good to see you up walking around at least, and hopefully back on the skis sooner rather than later.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Australia at the Winter Olympics next year in Salt Lake City. It isn't easy being a ski racer from a country that's more known for its beaches than its snow. To tell us about his preparations so far, would you please welcome him back to the show? Great to have him back. AJ Bear, ladies and gentlemen. Great to see you, mate. Now, our makeup department didn't do your hair this morning, did it?
No, they didn't, but the only reason I came back was for the cucumber sandwiches back there and to watch the girls rehearse. It's always good coming here.
No, it's always great. What's been going on since the last time we saw you? We saw you at the Australian titles this year. You won the junior and the senior.
Yeah, there were
Super
2 events
G or slalom?
in the giant slalom event. We only have the technical disciplines in Australia, and I've been training really hard on the physical side, and when we had snow, I've been doing a lot of on-snow training also.
I guess it's been a disappointing season for the snow, hasn't it, here in Australia? It must be very, very difficult to get on par with the rest of the world when we just don't have the slopes or the snow.
Well, that's a misconception. We do. We had one of the best seasons last year.
So I know nothing.
Well, we do have great and awesome resorts here. We have huge resorts. Perisher Blue's got 50 lifts, so that's not a problem. We had a 2-metre base this year, so I did get quite a bit of good training in Australia. And I did a few of the events, the Wild Winter Weekend, Extreme Games, Dash for Cash and so forth. to win a little bit of money to go towards my training. So it's been a good year for me.
Yeah, it's been tough. We're going to talk about your training, how tough it is at the moment. You've been over in New Zealand training with the Norwegian national team, and that costs a fortune. Was it $300 per hour to get down the runs or something like that?
Yeah, it was quite expensive. We were paying, as you said, $300 an hour for lane training. And I spent 2 weeks over there with their team, and they had their best World Cup skiers out there. And
did you learn a lot?
I did learn a fair bit, and I see how they train and what they do.
Were they good to you? They're very accommodating, very open about what they're doing and how they do it?
Yeah, they were, because we are such a small nation, and they can see that we are struggling. But we did timing with them, and I was quite lucky to be never more than 2/10 behind their fastest guy, and actually beat them all on a couple of runs as well. So I think it's good for them to see someone else, with it as hard as I have it, up there with them.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw you in the dash for cash. We actually suited you up. How hard was the Wild Winter Weekend in comparison to last year's event?
It was unbelievably tough this year because the run was about 3 times the distance, and that run is an absolute killer.
Well, we suited you up with the heart rate monitor just to see how you went. I think you started here at 145 heart rate per minute, and there's Craig Branch out in front. You're lagging behind because you're taking it easy. And look at the heart rate. Like, you should be dead. 223 beats per minute.
It is unbelievably tough, but I don't know, Bud must have been hurting, because I saw him out in front. All I had to do was get there second and push him up there, and we got the cash.
Oh, it was a wonderful tag team effort. You guys are so special.
Well, Craig and I have been travelling together since the age of 9 and training together, and we've always been very close, and we're the same age. I'm 9 days older than him. And the last couple of years we've been splitting the money we earn in these type of events, so we don't knock each other out and maybe injure each other. And
so it's a concerted effort to beat everybody together. You're cheating.
Not
You're
cheating.
let me tell you.
We got to do what you can to get some money.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the cost now, because I've counted them up. There's 27 World Cup events. It takes in places of Austria, USA, Canada, Italy, Germany, Sweden, Switzerland. You were sponsored by OneTel. Okay, everybody knows where that went, south. How are you going to get around to the World Cup events? Because you're so looking at the Winter Olympics next year as a major chance for us, our best skier without a doubt. You've got great chances over there in Salt Lake. How are you going to get around to the 27 events for the World Cup? How are you going to do it?
Well, I'm looking for sponsorship, as I always am. I don't have any major sponsors now that OneTel has gone down the drain. And if I can scrape through to these Olympics, this is a great chance for me to prove myself. I've proven to myself, I'm not prove to others, I've proven to myself in the past that I am right up there in training with these top guys, and also in World Cup splits. I've had quite a few top 5 splits. So if I can prove myself at these Olympics, it's like climbing a ladder. You've got to take it step by step. I'm still relatively young on the World Cup circuit, and once I get the support behind me, I know that I can be consistently in there.
What does the support give you on a day-to-day for a skier? You have to tune your own skis, which takes hours and hours and hours. You don't get the physios, you don't get the massage, you don't get the, the big trips away to compete on a level, the fans, of course.
I know
it's tough stuff. You're a one-man out.
I know, it's a tragedy. I don't get enough time to work on the beach muscles. But overseas...
Well, here's an Austrian skier or an overseas skier here, and she gets massage, she's got guys halfway down the slope, they're all wide for sound. Look at the support there.
I know, it is tough. I travel with my teammate and one coach when we can afford to employ him. Sometimes we just travel around by ourselves. So it is a lot of work. I have a really high workload, and this year, if we can raise enough money, the biggest thing we need is a ski technician, because I'm having to do the job of a ski racer and also a full-time technician, which takes up to 5 hours an afternoon. So I don't get enough time I usually like to ride the bike for about an hour and a half each day just to flush the lactic acid out of my legs, and also do another bit of stretching and other physical work.
To get more tuned
I sometimes have to cut that short just to work on my skis. So.
Well, when you do your 5 hours and you don't get your lactic acid or your ride down or your cool down, how do you look at Herman Meyer, the Herminator, and Hans Trickle? How do you look at these blokes with any confidence that you're going to beat them when they've got zillions of dollars? How do you do it?
You can liken it to trying to win a Formula One World Championship without a pit crew.
Or with a push bike.
But, it's a learning. I've just got to make those small steps, which I mentioned earlier, and I don't get frustrated. I don't try not to have any unproductive thoughts. I know that I'm right in there with them, it'll just take time. And
do you socialise with these blokes? Do they talk to you, or are they sort of mega stars and they got their entourage and they walk in, walk out? Do they converse with you? What's it like on the circuit?
It's actually really friendly on the circuit. We're friends with most of the teams. The Austrians are a little different because they're so competitive within themselves that even. Yeah, they
don't talk to each other.
No, well, yeah. So I probably shouldn't be saying that, but we're friends with the rest of the other nations, and we get along really well. And we do try and join up with as many large nations as we can to get some quality training. So
where to next?
Now I'm heading back down to Perisher Blue tomorrow morning. I've got to be on snow at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're going to ski as long as we can, and then hit the physical work again. Try and make a few more gains there.
Have you got over to Salt Lake City to have a look yet?
We did. Last February there was a World Cup test event, so we're over there for a week. Unfortunately, it snowed about 2 metres while we were there, and we didn't get to race the course.
Okay.
But
what do you think of the course?
We got two training runs over there, and I like it. It suits my technique. It's tough. It's turny. There's no gliding sections, which is.
Does that suit you better?
When there's no gliding sections, because equipment is sort of taken out of play there, and sometimes my skis aren't running as quick as others are. And so I ended up 15th out of 80 competitors on that first training run. So, you know, that's a good confidence builder, and I'm raring to go.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thanks very much for your time, and good luck with everything. If you want to sponsor AJ Bear, give me a call. I'll take care of it. I'm going to manage him. I'm going to handle him. I'm only kidding. It's the worst thing you possibly get. But if you do want to take care of business with one of the guys going to Salt Lake City, AJ Bear, just give someone at Fox Sports a call. We'll put you in contact, and you'll have a great Australian athlete representing your company. Hopefully you'll be able to get something out of that. Well done, AJ. Please, thank you very much. AJ Bear. Now, coming up after the break, we'll talk.